Dude, I thought I was going to piss myself laughing when he started talking about that raccoon taking the freaking piece of pipe from him. If he had said the raccoon started beating him with it, I'd have lost it right there.
So what's up, trade crew? Welcome back to another episode, number 92 of HVAC R&D with Rhydon and Dennis. We are powered by Keystone Sales and Associates. They are your premier Mid-Atlantic manufacturer's rep for PHVAC products. We have just the two of us on here, bud, which I didn't think we would get a chance. We got a lot of guests coming up, but
Yep, we do.
we just got through with one and had a great time with him. We'll talk about that a little bit. Without further ado, let's get it going.
Yeah, come on. So what's up, trade crew? Like Dennis said, welcome back to another episode of HVAC R&D, number 92, closing in on the old century mark. But just a quick word from our sponsors. This show is brought to you by Platinum sponsor One Thing Marketing. We've got a meeting tomorrow, finalizing a lot of the website stuff. So hopefully by the time this drops, you guys will be seeing some finishing touches on that thing going up at hvacrd.com. And if you're not following us on social media, please make sure to check us out on Instagram and TikTok at hvac.rnd, as well as on LinkedIn and Facebook at hvacrnd, and on Trade Hounds, which the count is 14 and 30 something when I looked the other day. So it's going, it's growing.
Sweet. Yeah, I was watching them dig in the dirt again the other day on there.
I know, can't help it, man. That, and I've seen so much stuff for like these big like heavy equipment trade shows that are going on right now.
Right. Oh, yes.
I kind of want to go to one of those
and play with that.
Yeah, I kind of want to go to one of those one day just to see all the heavy equipment, because apparently I'm permanently a 3-year-old that likes to play in the dirt with toys.
Yeah, nothing against a press fitting, but
yeah,
if I could get on a backhoe and drive it around in an exhibit,
yeah, no joke.
Yeah, I'm going to sign up for that.
So, like we said, go check out the vendor hub, sign up for the mailing list at hvacrnd.com. Also, for any other information, please check the link tree in the bios of our social media. So, with that shameless plug out of the way, I think it's time for one of these. Hey.
We almost synchronized, opened those.
That's our Olympic sport, synchronized beer opening.
That's right. And I feel like we've been letting our IPA friends down. We used to kind of dabble a little bit in the beers. Rhydon's been, he hasn't been straying far from the hitchhiker box.
No, I'm just steadily crushing the old cerveza.
So you hitchhiking it?
Absolutely. Thumb out.
I did bring a little bit different. I do have a salt and lime hitchhiker.
Ooh, very nice. The Chilada.
I mean, I'm looking at my watch. It's 63 right now in Fort Mill. That's close enough.
And I apologize in advance for the weed eaters in the background. Actually, we could just pretend we're recording at a golf course. Does that work?
Right.
I mean, it is a golf podcast. Sorry, Matt.
Yeah, still trying to make it a golf podcast. Man, if we could record out at a clubhouse, just out on the patio, that'd be sweet.
Hey, you know what? The world is our oyster, sir.
So what have you been getting into?
Well, so we're, it's officially spring now. It's tune-up season. Trying to sell some coil cleaner.
Yeah.
Get that out there. A lot of guys are kind of trying to finish up getting their PMs ready. And man, that thing is going at it.
It's not that bad on my end.
Oh, because now they got the leaf blower.
Oh yeah,
leaf blower time.
The backpacks
Product.
Yeah. While we've been on.
We've went from the stand-up mower to the weed eaters, and now they're grabbing the backpacks. Because naturally, the groundskeepers parked their truck right outside my window. And while it is late afternoon, you'd think they'd about be done, but since it's spring and we have sprung forward, they got a few extra hours of daylight, so they're working late.
Oh yeah.
But
I was gonna say, what have you seen? What's a big mover for you on cold cleaners? Everybody still is using the same similar products. Not necessarily
in a lot of cases. I've seen a few more people start to get into the aerosols for indoor coils.
Right.
Which kind of makes sense in a way. But mostly it's still just your standard, there's some people that, are all about the universal, tri-power or triple D, whatever, your flavor is. Yeah. The orange bottle.
I see that a lot. When I'm doing training and I've got a blue coating on the condenser, everybody's like, can we use triple D on that? Yeah, as long as you see the blue start coming off, pull it back a notch.
Please dilute down properly.
I always tell them, I say, you know what, when I used to wash the old Linux coils, they had a black coating on them. You get some good foamage, hit it with the hose, and it's like, oh shit, where'd all the black go? He gone.
Now, was that an epoxy coating similar to what we saw in, I think Train did some epoxy. Of course, most of their epoxy coils, I think, were indoor, weren't they? We'll have to ask our Train buddy down in Texas.
Well, so I'm not sure these were like 2005 Linux units. I know on our end, on heat pumps, you see the gold coating for mini splits. That's a hydrophilic or folic. Might screw that up. Haven't looked at the spell on that lately, but that is to shed water so we don't ice up in heat mode as quick, right? So some guys are putting that on the indoor coils too because of humidity, trying to keep humidity down so the water doesn't sit on the fins and get blown into the air. I mean, we're starting to seriously split hairs on humidity now.
That's interesting.
Homeowners are becoming very knowledgeable. They know where they want their humidity. The houses are getting more high performance. So I was going to say, I was looking at some ERVs the other night for my new house. I'm going to have to go that route, by the way.
We'll have to talk to our Centrotherm friends to get some of that sweet green venting.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be foamed top to bottom, walls and everything.
There you go.
On a raised slab. So I'm going to have to get some ERV action, which I'm excited. I was actually seeing something the other day where they were taking a 20 SEER heat pump, inverted heat pump, and using it to do radiant floor heating.
Ooh.
So it's like a water coil. I'm gonna have to work on that, and I'll report back. But it's it's not using a boiler or anything. It's using heat pump for that. So that's the future of that. Boilers, big cast iron boilers and stuff are kind of like, for us down here in the South. We say 80% furnaces are going away. That's what's going away up there. So, God, this salt lime Modelo's got me burping like crazy.
It'll happen.
It's a little foaming action here. No, so that's I thought about doing something crazy stuff like that.
Now, see, we use a lot of tankless water heaters doing radiant,
right?
Up in the mountains.
See, I don't have gas in that neighborhood. I could put in a tank. I don't know. I might could put a 100-gallon tank in. I'm trying to go full electric. I mean, the neighborhood's full electric, but
yeah,
I would like a tankless, but the brand that I'm repping, there's those heat pump water heaters, tank water heaters. They're
pretty solid.
I haven't heard a lot of bad. I mean, I've heard some noise complaints about them or some vibration, depending on where they are, right?
Yeah.
There's a compressor at them running, but I hadn't really heard anything bad about them.
I was gonna say, do you have enough room in the old mechanical room? Because those things are taller than us. Okay, there you go.
I'm gonna try to put my water heater in the garage. That's the way I grew up, having them out there. Putting a 50-gallon water heater in the attic. Not a fan of that.
I'm not a fan of putting water in the attic.
That's everything. This neighborhood I'm in, every one of them.
Oh, no, thank you. How can you? And the thing is, can you even get the things out once it's up there? I mean, how are you getting those through the access? Are they skinny enough?
Yeah, they'll slide through a pull down. My neighbor sprung a leak the other day. He didn't know it was leaking. His PEX. This neighborhood had a bad run of PEX in like 2007. Some class action lawsuit PEX. It
wasn't the PEX aluminum PEX crap, was it? I remember that.
It's just like, it's gray though. It's not blue and red and white.
Okay.
It's almost like a polybutylene. But it'll just spring a pinhole and just start spraying. And I mean, when you notice that, it's way too late.
Yeah, no joke.
He noticed just his whole bathroom ceiling just drenched. And it's an easy.
What is
fix.
that?
You can probably guess who did the sheetrock in there, right?
Yeah.
That was me. That was another case of beer.
I was going to say, did you earn another case of beer for that one?
I guess. I told him he couldn't find anybody. I mean,
I remember I had a buddy who he and his wife had in their laundry room in the place they were renting. You could kind of reach over the top and get into the wall. It's like the sheetrock didn't go all the way up in the laundry room for some reason.
Right.
It had maybe 3 or 4 inches to the ceiling, and their cat jumped down in it.
Oh, that was
so they had to knock a hole in the living room side to get the cat out, but then they didn't know how to fix the sheetrock, so I went over there and fixed all the sheetrock for him. I said, how on earth did you let the cat do that? Well, we didn't think you'd do that. So I guess probably most people don't either, but
curiosity.
Yeah, literally.
Killed the cat. Yep.
Luckily, they could tell which one he went in, and they didn't, knock holes through every single 16-inch
right
section between studs. Oh, God. That'd have been awful.
So had a good show with Justin.
Yes, we did. A lot of fun.
True Blue.
Yep. We've had some good shows lately. It's been
I like
fun.
to get into a little bit of everything, as we've said before. I don't know, I was listening to some of the Jason, the Wicked, Ain't No Rest for the Wicked. God, we had a lot of. God, I mean, I forgot about half of that stuff.
Dude,
he just goes through it.
I know. I could not stop laughing.
We can say anything
for
about
days.
him because he said he doesn't listen to these shows.
That's true. Well, he listens to this show. He just doesn't listen to his show.
Right. Well, that's what I meant. Yeah, he doesn't listen to his own show.
But, dude, I thought I was going to piss myself laughing when he started talking about that raccoon taking the freaking piece of pipe from him. If he had said the raccoon started beating him with it, I'd have lost it right there.
Yeah, I mean, and the problem is he's serious.
I know.
Like, he's for real.
I know.
It seems like for our northern, True Blue was Delaware. Our northern guys don't have the critter problems we got down here.
Well, because, they've got these nice, creepy basements they hang out in, but right. The critters don't seem to get in there. I guess, I don't know.
God, Flintstone and them, those basements just look like, where's the moonshine? It's got to be down here somewhere.
Where's the moonshine?
It just looks, like, where's the moonshine? Or like, just people just tied up down there. God, they just look horrible.
I did think it was interesting when Justin was talking about, going on to vacation to the Outer Banks. When, I think I've only been to the Outer Banks like twice in my life.
I've never been.
And one time I was so young I don't remember. I feel like now I just need to, because everybody from up north keeps going and hanging out in our state, and I don't even know what's down there.
Well, it is a different part of the planet over there. It's just its own little... I'm looking forward to hitting some North Carolina beaches when I move. I'm not moving closer to the beach, but it's just going to be a horizontal drive.
There it is. Which, granted, the drive from Valdez to Raleigh to out to New Bern and everywhere, you never realize that North Carolina is that wide. Is that the right way to say it?
Yep.
It's a wide state. It's a wide state.
It's awfully flat too. Like when I'm going towards like Fayetteville, I'm like tobacco field, cotton field, tobacco field. It's just
we literally go from the mountainous peaks above over here all the way down to the sand and salt flats.
So I have to. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say they grew indigo and stuff too. I believe back in the day down out that way.
What the hell was that?
I think they used it for like dye. Pretty sure.
Trying to find a cool week.
Yeah, there we go. Way to tie it back in.
Told you this was an HVAC show. So speaking of golf podcast.
Famous for natural blue colors.
Indigo
Indigofera tinctoria. There we go.
Or is it like a...
Yeah, it's a plant.
Flower? Okay.
It's from the bean family. Is the original sources of indigo dye. There you go. Because, they had to have something to give the cotton color.
Yeah, but I thought they just dyed it.
Exactly. With indigo. Thank you very much.
So you got blue to start with. That's all you had.
Also, you can get blue indigo seeds on Etsy for $10. Just throwing that out there. Thanks, Google.
Yep.
Oh, man.
So, Foreplay, right? The golf podcast that I listen to a lot. They have a guy on their show. There's 4 of them. He's a newer guy. He worked for Golf Digest, Danny Rappaport. And he's on their show now. He's 20-something years old. And they all, they're big Twitter guys. So something they always say comes across their desk, right? One of them was just on Google, and there's a New York Times post that said, Dan Rappaport was a Latvian-American investor. He's outspoken critic of Russian President Vladimir Putin, falls to his death from a high-rise apartment. And it's literally Dan Rappaport from the podcast. His picture on there.
Oh, somebody didn't do their research.
Totally the wrong guy, right? I mean, this was out, and I'm trying to find it. It's gone now, but it's like there he is. There's old Danny just on the New York Times. So I was scrolling through Instagram right before we started recording, and they made like this whole post in black and white like We Miss Danny, and it's like got the Sarah McLachlan song in the background playing. Oh God, I was dying.
That's awesome.
I mean, maybe one day we'll be big enough up in the spotlight.
I think our goal for this year is to record at least one show from a golf course. We have to.
We can do that. Oh, Zach, our buddy Zach, he's calling me right now.
Hey, maybe he's got a crawl space confession.
I should answer it.
You should.
What's up, buddy?
What's up, dude? God damn it, let me call you right back.
Well, that didn't go over well. Zach, you're on the podcast right now.
What?
Yeah.
We're recording. I figured I'd answer it. What's up, man?
You're recording right now?
Yeah.
Well, shit.
You got anything to talk about? You got a confession for us?
Well, you know, one day, Dennis, I got Joven with me.
Of course you do. You just ride around with you all day?
He sits beside me all day long. It's a little dummy doll. I'm just kidding. Now, dude, that guy that you had on there last week, the second rest for the week, I had laughed so hard at this episode.
Yep, that's what we were just talking about.
Wait for the next one.
What the hell are you guys recording so early for?
Because, man, we got to get stuff done. We got life, and I got to cook on the grill here in an hour.
God, man, is my time right? Like, it's 4:25?
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? Okay.
All right, I'll call you back.
All right, later.
Hey, see
Yeah,
you.
dude. Bye, bye.
Oh, God, of course, Zach. Can't take
Nice.
it.
Nope. Dennis. Hey, Dennis.
God, what a psycho. So, anyway, what else is, you got some springtime, not
Yes,
springtime, you got some matchups.
So, one of the more interesting matchup, I would say issues, but I don't really feel like it's an issue. I think it's just getting used to new technology. Guys are struggling, not understanding why multi-stage heat pumps and coils can't be used on, existing 1990s furnaces for a dual fuel matchup. It's like, because they don't know how to talk to one another, man. I said, you're trying to put a 3-stage inverter or a multi-step inverter on this single stage furnace with a coil, and it's not rated. Said, we can't just make it work. And on top of that, and it's not just even in dual fuel matchups, it's also with, multi-stage AC and coil matchups. It's hard to put a 3-stage air conditioner on a single stage, 1992 80% furnace with a PSC blower.
Right.
It just doesn't work. And they're not really putting out, AHRI ratings with a multi-stage AC with a coil only, because they can't really prove what it can or can't do without having the proper indoor piece.
Rating. We run across that a lot. It's like, why don't y'all's product rate with this? Well, you have to pay for that.
That's it.
That brand has to pay for that.
And it's not even that. It said, guys, there's not ratings for outdated products with newly updated standards. It's just, there's no way to do that. So, that's something I've started running into a little bit more now that, we're into SEER 2 and EER 2 and HSPF 2 and all the 2s that have, taken over. Way to get creative, EPA. Good job.
I'm just ready for 3. Let's just move on to 3, where we rate inverter products at different levels.
Yes.
Because we're rating all this stuff wide open, and it's really getting hard for salesmen. It's getting hard for homeowners to understand what they're buying. It's just not, and it's, we're not far from it. It's time. Especially the product that I'm repping, the 15 SEER full inverter product, that just gets all confusing.
Well, and when you pull a AHR rating on a pump, you see this info, and then you see 17 degrees and you see 47 degrees. Neither one of those is really truly giving you an idea what's happening anyway.
No.
Well, we know that if it gets super cold, it can do this, but it still doesn't even, it doesn't even take strips or anything else into account. It doesn't take, even on inverters, it doesn't really truly show you where you're picking up or what you're gaining or what you're getting at a lower temperature. Right. We had, Ben on here, HVAC Strong, was talking about, being able to put in a heat pump inverter up there that can run down to really, really low negative temperatures. Well, I mean, and you can't even see anything like that on an AHRI rating either. So it makes it very difficult to explain to homeowners what's going to happen. And then you also have instances where, I've had customers that'll say one thing to a homeowner or another, and then it can get misconstrued by the homeowner where they just assume they're never going to have to run a heat strip. That's not the case. No. There's going to be a time when it comes on, and we'll have, they'll call the contractor angry because they see their auxiliary heat strips come on when it's 32 outside. I'm like, well, my unit's frozen and my auxiliary heat strip's on. What's going on? This thing is a piece of crap. It's garbage. Get it out of here. No, sir.
Maybe in defrost.
Well, what's that? I said, well, have you ever taken a frozen piece of chicken out of the freezer and had to just let it sit there for a minute? It frosts up. And how do you get that frost off of it? You put it in a microwave and you add heat to it. So that's probably a terrible analogy, but it made sense a little bit in my head. I'm not the tech guy that Dennis is, but
that might be what's his name's version of a heat pump. Tesla.
There it is. It can thaw your chicken too, folks. Built-in microwave.
Yeah, that's where we're getting. Obviously, you're going to hear us say that on here a lot about heat pumps. That's where we're headed. So I really think we got to start rating these a little different. I had a class this morning, 25 guys, and that's starting to be the questions that I'm getting. And they're giving me some good feedback from homeowners too, right? Because homeowners are changing. I keep saying that, trying to get everybody on board with that. But that December that we had, that 2 weeks there, now these salesmen are getting asked, like, well, how can my heat pump perform down to this temp without a heat strip? I mean, this is what our homeowners are asking now. They used to not be like that. But
well, speaking of training, I know you were pumped. You had your or you're getting ready to have some of your first training in your new training room. So what you got going on there?
Oh yeah, so I did have my first class. Of course, it was like 27 degrees outside.
Perfect.
Don't have heat really in this warehouse yet. There is an upstairs space that's conditioned. They work up there, and it's just a hardwood floor. But heat doesn't fall through the floor. It rises.
No, it does not.
So I got a heat pump down there, a 5-ton that blows on the wrong way, blows into the other space, but I blocked that plenum off and cut a huge hole on the other side. And I got it up to about 60 in there before everybody got there, which honestly was not a bad temperature to train in. If you're just sitting there in a chair watching me talk, it wasn't the best, but these guys are getting ready to get out in it anyway. So, they were already bundled up.
Well, and thinking of that too, since you train with running live equipment, it's actually a positive that it's cooler in there, because you can set a regular 68 to 72 degrees set point, and that sucker's going to run because it's cold.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually running AC in there. This was a heat pump, inverted heat pump. So I was actually running AC in there, which was kind of neat. But yeah, you can put it in heat mode, and actually with that temperature in there, it started to kind of frost the coal just a touch, stuff like that. But yeah, we had good training in there. We hit some golf balls. I do have a golf simulator in there. I got some cornhole. I've got darts. Something different for the contractors, We got some coming up where we're going to do some, we'll have a dart competition, give some giveaways.
You got to break it up every now and then,
Yeah, especially like a 3-hour class. Well, I'll go for an hour, then we'll kind of break it up. Stretch your legs, eat some food, It's not Top Golf, but it's,
But like Top Golf, you can play any course you would like, pretty much, with that simulator. So,
Yeah, I can't wait to get some more guys in there and do that. I got to build I'm going to be building a Geo cart.
Nice.
Cart, running Geo system, which will be kind of fun. We've got an Arzell. Supposed to have some of them guys on the show at some point. We rep Arzell. My company does. Arzell Zoning. They're going to be coming down doing a big training class, going over zoning. I told him, I said, I'm going to need, he wants a 4-hour class. I said, I want 2 hours to be over your product. The other 2 I want over zoning, just in general.
Absolutely. Zoning and ductwork.
Yeah, practices, right? Good practices. Airflow, zoning. I feel like we screw zoning up quite a bit out there.
Probably one of the most positive classes that I ever put together, which actually I don't think you had started yet. I put together just a basic duct design and airflow course that I did with sales guys. Hey, all right. Now I'm not alone.
Hey, I do remember that. Well, I clicked through it. You showed it to me. I never sat in it,
but so I went through. I could do an hour to 2 hours, depending on how many questions I got asked and if they wanted me to go a bit more in depth. I do not have the service tech knowledge that Dennis has, but the one thing I was always good at and understood was airflow and building a duct system or designing a duct system. That was one thing that Cajun Joe drilled into my head, which is a positive thing, because if I can get you to put good ductwork in, you don't need quite as much of Dennis's technologies all the time. But
right.
So anyway,
they all work great together.
That's it. So I would do it with, in-home sales guys, because there are a lot of times where they don't really pay attention to the existing ductwork when they go change the system out, and it's not performing the way they promised that it would perform, but it's because they didn't do the other due diligence to see what they even had existing to work with in the first place. So I built the class, went through a lot of basic duct design stuff, and it was literally about trying to get your airflow right. And it was probably one of the most well-received classes that I've done a couple of different times, and it also helped guys be better about upselling ductwork. At a minimum, guys were doing a lot better about, replacing and upsizing returns, things like that, because 22 was a more forgiving refrigerant than 410, and I'm sure as we get more into A2L refrigerants in the next couple of years, you're going to probably see the same thing. If you're not paying attention to ductwork, it's going to become more and more important. And as we continue to have staged equipment, as you said, or inverters, you've got to be able to understand how to, deal with a single zone system, let alone multi-zone systems.
I still see guys hit a wall, the difference between a constant torque and a true variable speed.
Yep.
And I know when I'm giving a class, the brand I'm teaching on, our best, our Cadillac, is a 2-speed constant torque, which is just pretty basic. You get 5 speeds to choose from, but you got a Y1, Y2 call, and the outdoor is full inverter. So, but I tell them that outdoor inverter that ramps up and down does not fix bad ductwork.
Nope.
Here's what ends up happening, and some brands out there will print this, overcomes bad ductwork, however they want to print it. What ends up happening is if you've got a system, you got a 2-ton air handler, and you got 1 10-inch return, so that's 1 ton. That outdoor unit throttles down to match that 1 ton of load on that coil. So, and it runs fine, but then the house doesn't keep up. So the unit runs fine. There's no codes. It's just matching that load on that coil, which is not enough for the house. Right?
Yep.
So, yes, it does. It doesn't freeze up. It throttles down, right? That technology, it's looking at suction pressure, or if it's communicating right, it slows the blower down. But next thing you know, it's a 2-ton air handler. We need 2 tons. It's 95 degrees outside. We need to remove some heat. We can't because we don't have enough return. So you get that call, you go over there, checking pressures, everything looks great, but meanwhile, you got a 10-inch return in there. So they're smart in the sense that they're doing that, right? But that constant torque, remember, it's just a little bit better than a PSC motor, but not much.
No, because once you get past a point, they say 0.7 for most brands do. Once you get past 0.6, it's struggling big time. Yeah,
I think our constant torque is just a broad ocean. It's 0.8. Most are 0.7. Your Gentex, trying to think of some more brands. They're usually 0.7. Now, your true variables, they go up to a 1 static typically. They're a little more tough, right? The true variable speed will actually ramp up and down. If you look at the amp draws on the side of them motors, right, they're a lot longer of a gap there. Constant torques, 3 or 4 amps, they're done. True variable speeds are 12 amps, right? I mean, it takes a lot to crush those, but
yep.
Yeah, I still think airflow is an issue. Now, the more trainings I do at these middle-sized companies, they're very, very tight on airflow. Like, they're finally their sales guy has a manometer. Their sales guy knows what ductwork is, because he'll go out there and sell that job. They go put it in, and they're like, "God, man, why don't you tell us? We got to upsize this. We got to fix this. We got to fix that." Now you're just spending money, can't charge for. So
well, and I think in some cases we're starting to see a bit more of guys that were in the field the last 10 years start to transition into sales, because they're tired of the field work, but they still want to be in the industry. They want to take a step up, do a little bit different job, do something different. So as we see these guys that go from, technician or, lead installer, and they're moving into, home comfort consultants or whatever you want to call the job. Every company has a different name for it or a different title, but it's still the same thing. You're a sales guy. We're starting to see a little bit more, field experience get into the in-home salesperson in some cases. So that does help, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I've had to...
Zach, for example, who called in earlier, he's kind of worked his way through it, besides, he's been secretly lost in the back of a van all the way up to, now he's selling people equipment. So,
yeah, he does a good job. And he just texted me and said, "Dude, that threw me off so bad." Old Zachary. All right. So, yeah,
actually, I was going to say,
ductwork.
Yeah, you gotta tell everybody about Corey real quick, just so we posted the pictures, but I want to hear a bit more since he's back home now. I'm kind of curious to see some of the insight and some of the inside stories from his experience out there.
So Corey went to Dublin for the band. He was in the St. Patrick's Day parade downtown Dublin. He said it was killer, but they went over there a week early and toured all the way across. And I think it was a 9.5 hour flight from Atlanta.
Sounds about right.
Something like that. 4 hours ahead of time. Maybe it was almost 5 hours ahead. So the first morning he was there, it was 5 a.m. here, and he's texting and calling. And he's just, getting a coffee and all this crap. And I'm like, "Dude, your mom is sleeping. Stop. Just stop." Tracy sets her stuff at 5:30, 6 o'clock. She's up and out. But 5 o'clock is night time. So, but anyway, yeah, he said it was, he loved it. The people were super nice. The the bus drivers that they had were the tour guides. So they were, we're talking about 200 and something kids in the band. So there's multiple buses taking them through the countryside, and Column, I think his name was Column, his bus driver, but he lived there obviously, and Corey got to hanging with him and talking to him, and he'd get on the microphone and tell everybody, what's going on, and to the right you see this, and to the left you see this. So old Column's backing up. Probably about 2 days in, he's backing up this tour bus. This what do you call it? Not tour bus. I wish it was a tour bus. The big coach buses.
Yep.
He's backing it up. There's a ton of kids on there talking, and he backs into a mirror from another bus.
Oh crap!
Blows the whole back window out. Literally. The whole back window, it's huge. The whole thing, the whole back just glass. Blows it out, and they end up like throwing some plastic over it and cruising around for the rest of the day, and felt bad. So all of Corey felt bad for the guy, but Corey's just that kid, right? I mean, so they would give Corey like 15 euros for each meal, and whatever he had left over he would just save, and at the end he had about 25 euros left over, and he just give them to Colin. He's like, here you go, bud, thanks, I can't use these where I'm going back to. So no, he said it was great, man. He's the nobody's on their phone. People are just, he said it's hard to explain, people are just enjoying life, and technology and everything just doesn't take over there. I don't know. He noticed that. So,
well, it's different. It's been a while since I was in Europe, but it was just it was totally different. Even when I was there, it was still a cell phone era, but it was not the way it is now.
Right. So the band sent out a link so we could see them live. I sent Rhydon this link too, so we could see if we could see Corey when he went down the parade.
Could not get it to work, by the way. Of course, I was trying to deal with it on a phone and driving half the time, so I guess that makes sense too.
Yeah, it's kind of like the British network, but Ireland. And so I'm watching it. I'm like, I don't know when they're coming up, the parade's going on, and they're zooming in. So they come up to this one float, and they're playing YMCA. I don't need to go in any further than that. They're having a ball on this float, and I see Fort Mill right behind them. I'm like, oh, sweet, they're coming up next. As soon as that one float goes by, commercial break.
No.
I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, Tracy's going to snap. It comes back on, they're gone.
No.
I mean, they're like, the commercial break was 10 minutes, and when they come back, it's like 3 bands down. So we had to find it on Facebook and YouTube, but every video you pull up, all you can hear is that YMCA jamming in front of him. Corey said, oh yeah, he said he couldn't even count off. So he's center snare. So he's trying to count off each time. And he said, I kept counting to YMCH. He said, all I could hear, they had, giant speakers on the float blasting it. And that's all he kept hearing. So he said a couple times, I think they played Sir Duke, Stevie Wonder, for the parade.
Nice.
And they played it at the speed of YMCA a couple times because Corey counts off, and that's where it goes. So I think it was a little quicker than most Sir Dukes.
Playing it to a quick step today, boys. Let's go.
That's right. So he had a good time. Of course, he got back here at midnight Saturday night and was supposed to go to Boone for a band clinic for college band the next morning and leave at 7. And I said, buddy, you can't make it. Plus his time's all jacked up.
Oh yeah.
he skipped that, got some rest. I think his jet lag wasn't too bad on him, but he is young, so I think he's adapting well. So yeah, he had a good time. We'll post a few more things.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we got to get into HVAC R&D sports management update.
That's it.
It's been a while.
It has been a while. Which, granted, winter slows down a little bit of that stuff. So if you haven't heard us talk about it before, a buddy of ours and his, how old's Izzy now?
12.
She's what,
okay.
11, 12? So you can find her on Instagram at Rippin' Lips Ricky Lee.
I love that.
She is a budding youth fishing sensation. And, you know, for us, you know, Dennis and I, you know, we played sports as a kid. You know, I used to coach rec league basketball all the time, even when I was in high school. We had Justin on here last week talking about, you know, how cool it was that he gets to sponsor the little league fields that he grew up playing on. So, you know, youth sports is a big thing, you know, and
youth sport molds these kids, man.
Yeah, it's what molds kids. That's right. You know, and we grew up in the generation where you actually had to win to get the trophy.
Oh, yeah. What a concept that is.
Which, you know, seeing someone like Izzy get into, you know, a competitive environment now that also kind of blends in with older age groups and everything else, you know, she's in a position where if you win, you win. If you don't, you know, you try better again next time. And that's, you know, that's how it really works.
He's like, we got a tournament coming up, and the next day I didn't hear from him. I'm like, how'd she do? He's like, I mean, she didn't win. I'm like, dude, how many fish did she catch? It doesn't matter. Did she finish, you know, 150th or 12th, right?
That's right.
We want to follow her journey, and that comes with good, it comes with bad.
That's right.
That's life. I mean, she wins one, that'll be great. If she doesn't, she'll learn, and it's going to be good for her. You know?
That's right. So I know, Dennis, you've got some updates. She had a tournament on March 4th.
Yep, March 4th.
Yep.
She had a BASS tournament. She did finish 14th. Now, she's fishing against high school kids and all kind of stuff, right? So
yep.
She finished 14th out of 86 boats, and he sent me a picture of them launching. It's got to be overwhelming for her. I mean, I remember fishing tournaments just weekday, like, you know, bunch of guys throw in $25, and we had 50, 60 boats on a Wednesday night, and it's mayhem. I mean,
yeah,
when you launch, it's you know, it's crazy. So her being her age in a tournament like that, so the weather still getting a little funky, right? We're getting ready to get into some good fishing weather, but she had 2 pound. Well, she caught a 2 pound fish. That was her keeper. So she finished 14th out of 86 boats with one fish that day.
Yep, 2 pounds, 5 ounces, single fish. That's solid right there.
Well, that tells you how hard fishing was that day, for sure.
Well, and they said they lost a couple. So, you know, if she hadn't lost 2 of them, hell, she might have been top 10. I don't know. I don't know who, you know, I don't know what the weigh-in was for who won, but.
And I think so we got her some swag coming. They just got their boat wrapped. Old Dad got the boat wrapped, got her logo on there. Of course, we have a logo on there. We got some videos of that to, you know, check out. We'll post some on Instagram. But, yeah, they've got, I mean, I've been getting pictures of her from her dad, her hanging out with Kevin Van Dam, you know, these pro fishermen. They're all about it. They're like, man, look at this kid.
Yep.
So it's going to be pretty cool. They got some more tournaments coming up, and we'll report back as we go. But
yep, I know they've got another big one coming up that's supposed to be, I think, 80 to 120 boats, something like that, which We should be getting info on that any day. And hopefully by the time we get some of that and we get all of her stuff in here, we'll be able to put together some cool compilation videos and post them for everybody so that you can kind of see what's going on.
Yeah, I know her mom posted something the other day. You know, when you got a kid in your family that's into something, everybody's into that. It's just what it is.
Yep.
You know, Corey's in the drums, Kylie's starting to pick up ukulele, right? Like, music going in the house, that's what it is here. I know her mom posted something on Facebook where she caught herself watching a fishing tournament on a Saturday morning, which I used to watch, but she's like, I would have never watched this until my daughter started fishing. So, yeah, we got some stuff coming down the line for her. It's going to be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to seeing her hoist a trophy up or something at some point. But so Zach didn't have a crawl space confession for us.
I know, right? He was not prepared. I will say that. We caught him off guard a little bit. He's calling me for something. He's probably got one. We do need to get, I know Jobin's listening to this show. It's about time for him to get into something. I don't even know what he's got going on right now. Well, apparently he's riding around with Zach, so Lord only knows what those two geniuses are getting into right now.
My buddy. Him and the old My Buddy doll.
Yep.
That's what I used to tell everybody. Some guy, if somebody keeps calling you, I'll get you a My Buddy doll, man. Hang out with. So we got any new partnerships coming down the line?
So I've had a couple conversations. Like I said, I know at this point we're really trying to just get the website and everything finalized and finished. Got a meeting with Brittany, Sandra, and Evan tomorrow to go over some final edits and some other stuff to kind of get it wrapped up. And then once we get Vendor Hub completely solidified, hopefully we'll start adding a few more as we go. But yeah, I've had a conversation with a company that, trying to say, I guess that there's a lot of smaller companies that don't always have back office support. So we're talking with a company that specializes in doing, some answering services and some other things like that, because you got to start somewhere. And it's hard to hire 3 different people to run an office when you're still trying to figure out how to, run 2 or 3 guys and a couple of trucks, to make all the ends meet and keep everything going. So, you've got to start somewhere, and being able to potentially have a partnership to kind of help steer guys towards, something to help with that would be a very positive thing.
That's also customer service, right?
Correct.
That's a whole nother animal. Like when it was me and my boss just out there doing installs and service and with our hair on fire driving around, the last thing we wanted to do was answer a customer service call.
That's it. Well, and you don't really have time to do that. You're sitting in an attic, and you're sweating your sack off, and the phone's ringing, and you got a torch in one hand, and this phone's ringing. You're like, no, I can't do this right now.
Yeah, you really don't want me to answer this right now.
No.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of neat, and like I said, that fits for certain size companies, right?
That's it, and that's there's going to be things. Go ahead.
I mean, it's out there, right?
Yeah, it's out there.
It's not huge.
Yep, and the whole point of what we want to do with the Vendor Hub is we want to have things in there that can help your business, whether it's big or small. So there's going to be things that fit certain companies that doesn't work for others, and then there's going to be stuff that works for this company that doesn't work for this company. So, and that's the whole thing is helping you guys have an easier means of some vetted resources to help you in your business. And then we met another guy while we were in Atlanta that does some really cool stuff with rooftops and helping manage rooftop replacements with some different equipment and tools. So I'm working on, following up with him and seeing what we can do to kind of get him involved. Now his, and for him, his stuff may be a bit more regional than some other places, but you know what? that's an important thing too. There's going to be some vendor hub relationships that work better in this region than others. That's just kind of how it works. We've got a continuously, more and more broad audience, which is, blown my mind. It is also very fascinating that we have so many people listening from so many different places, and we really appreciate it.
Oh yeah,
it's just really cool to watch this continue to grow as we get more and more into it. I don't even really know what else to say there.
Rhydon don't want to say it, but we get this website on here. He is going to start writing articles.
Yeah, I'm going to start. And
he's pumped about that.
I'm very excited about that. And a lot of people probably don't know it, but I started my social media career, 10, 12 years ago now? 14 years ago now? As a sports writer. So it's going to be interesting to start getting to put articles together. And I love to write anyway. It's something I've always enjoyed doing. But it's going to be interesting to start building articles and putting stuff together with vendor hub partners. But, I also want to start putting stuff together with guests and, former guests and other members of our continuous following and our friends, just to be able to kind of help promote different things in the industry.
Yeah, I was going to say something that we can't dive into hard on here. You could pop over to the website and see what Rhydon's been working on with, stuff in the industry. Something that our view on it, not when you go to a brand and then you scroll down and there's something they wrote on their own brand. It's something it's our view on it, or it's
That's
Rhydon's.
right. That's right.
So, more of a deep dive into something, as opposed to our podcast where we got to cover about 30 things.
That's it.
I'm looking forward to that. Of course, I'll throw some tech tidbits on there, just random stuff that helps me, right? So that's what's cool about the website. I'm looking forward to that.
And there's going to be some people that we don't, they may not actually have the time to get on a show, but I might be able to send them a list of 5 questions and get some answers. And then, I can build an article based on, some stuff like that. So it's going to be an interesting, different avenue to start kind of tying into the show. And I'm really looking forward to that.
Speaking of that, crawl space confession, what is happening? We got to get some of these.
Yeah, come on, guys. I'm sorry that not everybody gets whacked with a PVC the trash panda stole, but you've got to have some crazy attic, crazy homeowner, crazy customer stories. You got to have them. We all have them of one sort or another, and they're probably like, well, why don't you throw all of yours out there? I feel like
a lot of them.
Yeah, I feel like we throw enough info out there. We want some more feedback to tell some stories to get some more engagement here.
Yeah, so anything that happens to you out there, I don't care what it is. DM us, email us, whatever. Throw it on there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I want to bring some of these up with guests.
Yes.
See what they think about it. So,
also, before we forget about it, we should have brought it up when you were talking about your Arzell plenum earlier. Guys, we need stickers.
Oh, yes.
We need stickers. I know I've said this the last show, I've got a stack of people that I owe stickers to that I've got to get out, and I'm working on it. Hopefully by the time you hear this, you'll be like, yeah, I was one of those, and finally it's here. But as we continue to grow, and we're starting to get into discussions with different community colleges and different places that we're trying to help get into and talk to some younger people that are getting into the industry. And one of the things that really helps move that needle is being able to talk about, all of you guys that are on Instagram or on TikTok, LinkedIn, all these different places to show your work. Right. And, Dennis talked about it some, I think, the last show, and even some with Jason, that when he goes and he's training, especially when he was downstate, was at a big community college, these kids walk up and they're on the plenum, and he's like, hey, go follow these guys. And some of you, they already know. But we want more people to know who you are and be able to go check out your work and help inspire this next generation of technicians. So please, guys, if you're interested in getting your sticker on a plenum and helping us continue to push this movement for getting the youth involved in our industry that we desperately need, reach out to us, hvacrnd@gmail.com, or DM us, or hit us up on social media, and let's figure out a way to kind of get you guys on some of these plenums and do some more good for our industry.
Yeah, I was going to say, this morning I had, females too. This morning I had 25 technicians with a company. They were all either service guys or installers. And here I am with this plenum up there on this running system, and I'm doing a 3-hour training class on it. I even got a slide now that I throw up on if I got to, doing a PowerPoint. It's got some of you guys' Instagram handles up there, your pictures. Because when I go into the install portion of my training class, I talk about pride in your work, and I show some pictures, and I say, look, go follow these guys. And I got a room here with 25 guys, and I said, does anybody recognize any of these guys up here? And nobody raises their hand. And I had Jeff, Flintstone, PE HVAC, HVAC Strong, right? Just when we think this thing is huge, it's still not out there.
That's it.
Right?
And we want to help pushing all of you guys that have been so supportive of us, but have been so supportive of our industry, since in a lot of cases, Mike and Jeff have been doing this for years before we even got into the podcast sides of things. So, we're grateful for, all of the setting of the stage that they've done for us. And we want to help continue to move this, move the needle in the right direction.
Yeah, and it's great, right? They come up there, they take a picture of the plenum, they throw you guys a follow, they start looking at everything, and it just helps the industry, because I'm training 3 days a week at contractor shops all over the place. So, it's a good getting these, and everybody in there was 30 and under. You know what I mean? So, there was 3 or 4 females in there. So, I had a HVAC Jess sticker, but Jess, if you're listening, I need another one. I've stuck this stuff all over the place. Now I need more for the plenum. So, send us some stickers. We'll trade out. We'll trade out with you.
Absolutely.
I think we got some more we're going to create.
Yep.
Maybe.
Yep.
The beer can cold one's a hit.
Yep, it is.
All right. You got any shameless plugs here?
Yeah. So, definitely go make sure to follow us on social media, since that's what we've talked about for the last 3 minutes.
Right.
HVAC.R&D on Instagram and TikTok. HVAC R&D on Facebook and LinkedIn and Trade Hounds. And also make sure to go check out HVACRnd.com. Join the mailing list. Check out the vendor hub. And we appreciate everybody listening. Thank you so much. And we'll see you next week.
See you guys.
Peace.